Men are confused right now because number one, they have a love-hate relationship with women. They have a fetish for their own mom. They somehow want to die and want to go back into the mom's womb and disappear from life and the responsibilities that life requires from them. They love women because it's their nature to love women. Yet their love for women is unbalanced and they find themselves being used and manipulated by women who are not really their ally, but are the woman of a system. The men can barely understand that there's a system and that the woman is the subject of that system. He cannot fathom that. The situation is difficult. And the man doesn't feel comfortable and is in tremendous agony. His manhood has been crushed in every way, shape, and form, even though he may be strong and whatever he likes to pretend. And even though he gets laid, deep down, he's a subject. And deep down, his quote-unquote woman is not his woman. It is the system's woman that the system rents to him, which highlights his lack of manhood. This is very profound and your average person will not understand, but maybe your average person will understand but just will not accept. Like everybody who's seen this knows about the so-called elite and whatnot. Well, what does that actually mean if you put your we need freedom and we're free aside? You put this fucking bullshit that you want to believe in aside, and what does that actually mean? So there is a so-called elite and they've been around. What does that mean? That means you're a slave or a subject. That means the woman is a slave and a subject and it belongs to them just like you do. So you're proud, you're a real estate person and you like to go buy a piece of land. And when I was a kid, my father used to talk to me about real estate and I had a hard time to understand. Maybe I'm stupid. And he'd say, you buy land, you buy real estate to, save money, grow money, whatever you want, right? And I said, yeah, but you pay taxes, don't you? He's like, yeah. I said, what happens if you don't pay taxes? Like, what do you mean you don't pay taxes? You must pay taxes. I said, yeah, okay, I understand, but why do you have to pay taxes? Because you're a good citizen, you pay taxes. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. I didn't say fuck you, but I thought about it. I said, but what happens if you don't pay this? Like, well, then it's taken away from you. I'm like, so it's not your house. Then, of course, he couldn't accept what I'm saying because this is too simple. Simple understanding from a simple mind. But it was clear for me. There's not a part of me that, this is when I was like 14 or 15. It's not your house. You'd like to pretend it's your house. No, it's not your house. It's the house of the crown. They allow you to have access to the house. They allow you to be the prime caretaker of that land. And that in your brain means I own the house. You don't own the house, they own the house. They let you take care of the house, of the land. In return, you have to pay taxes. It was exactly like this with the les colons, the people who came to America and Canada and how it was run. Nothing's changed, it just looks different. So the same goes, there's a woman. The woman is subject of the system. If you're a good doggy as a man and then you behave properly, we'll give you money, we'll give you a fancy car. It's not your car, it's their car. You're stupid, you think it's your car. It's not your car, it's their car. It's all there, it's their clothes. It's all theirs. You just can't accept it because you cannot come to terms with reality. So if you're a good doggy and you play the game that they have set for you, you may get money, their money, which will allow you to buy a car, their car, buy a home, their home, buy all these things that you think is yours because you're confused, which then allows you to have access to their woman, which now you think is yours. But deep down in your interaction with her, if you're really honest, that means, forget this stuff, right? If you're really sensitive, when you're with her, you'll feel it's not mine. How dare you? A woman should belong to you. Every man wants to have, it's my woman. It's a part of a man hood claiming a woman, which doesn't make her your slave, but even if you claim her, you can feel that her mind is subject to another authority. I call that the whistle. You know what they do with the whistle? They call the popo. Popo meaning the authority. This is a bad doggy. She'll ring the alarm. If she sees that in your behavior, something's fishy. So forget the whistle. The whistle is always there, subtle. It's for you to find out and discover her whistle. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're really, really perceptive, you'll see something's funny. In appearance, she's like subjugated herself to you and she has millions of orgasms because you're such an amazing lover and all those things. But if you really have the capacity to perceive the unconscious realm and her unconscious and can listen to the parts that is not at the surface, the secret chambers, you'll understand what I mean. Some of you will know exactly what I mean because you're sensitive enough. It's like, and then you'll have these fools on TV or on YouTube will say, because you're not really a man. And I'm like, no, this is just a guy who has more resources because he's a better doggy. And she's doing the same thing. She's just using him in the same way. So what I'm trying to tell you, you can perceive that. And this is hard for people to understand. It's hard for people to accept. It's like, it's impossible. I'm like, okay, so don't take my word for it. If you're a good researcher, you'll find that data in every way, shape, and form described from so many angles. But if you're a real one, you'll journey inside and you'll figure it out for yourself. So when you realize that, as a man, you're like, I don't know, I wish level crushed. You're at the very, 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 very bottom. It's hard. It's very painful. It's like it's crushing your heart. And then you see, it's like, look at the mess. Look at the situation. And you don't understand. You can't even wrap your mind around it. And the sages are becoming so few. There's lots of sages everywhere. Everybody's a sage. Everybody's got a channel on YouTube. Everybody's selling a workshop. Everybody's emancipated. This is the age of enlightenment, apparently. Great. So even now, everybody knows what's going on. Yeah. That's why you got to go deep. You dive inside yourself. You'll feel like, wow, I thought, who says those things? It's rare. It's so rare. It's rare. Although there's so many enlightened people, everybody's enlightened, right? They went to a retreat for 5 days for $4,000, fasted for 2 minutes. And now they're enlightened. Everybody's enlightened, right? Where are the sages who used to tell you exactly what's going on? This is what's happening, dude. This is the condition of the human being. They'll tell you why, if there's something to do now, how the story unfolds, what's your part now, where this is going in a couple of years, etc., etc. This was common sense. Gone. Everybody wants to live in a dream. Everybody wants to rise the so-called pyramid so that they become better than other people and crush other people and be celebrated like a god. And men are the most influenced in this fantasy. Never forget that. The woman always somewhat remains a woman. That means she's, no matter what, still, at least for the time being, connected to dharma underneath the natural way of life. Due to her menstrual cycle, she can't help herself. So even though she has to delude herself in order to survive, and she's forgotten, there's a part of her that never forgets. It's impossible. At least for now. We'll see what they'll do in a couple of years. As for the man, he's so destroyed, and all he wants is to somewhat redeem himself and get laid, so that he can feel again as a man, because it's so... Imagine, just think about this. Let's say there's two armies, this A and B, and A crushes B. This one gets destroyed. They take the women and absorb them, and the children, they absorb them. And then they say, we're going to use you. You're going to do the labor. They castrate you, beat you, brainwash you, make you into a good subservient little simp. And then you, for generations, live like this. And then they give you an opportunity to, you too can be like us. Work hard. Would you not, like with all the obsession of your pain, try to rise the ranks so that you can be a man again? Food for thought. This is what the saints are saying. This is what the holy people have been saying. There is no solution there, but people don't understand. And then we speak of something else. For the most part, they do not grasp. There is another system. It's the way of life, but that way of life has become so foreign that it's like, doesn't make any sense to your average person. And the reality is that your average person wants that. They want the name, fame, and glory, the richness. They want the girls. They want to fight. They want to prove. They want to prove that they are a man. You're not a man. You want to prove that you're a man.